Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 4C Markets. I am your host, Alejandro Ramirez Limas, and as always, I have my co-host with me, Serhii. How you doing today, man?
Hi, everyone. Okay, today I think we have a very interesting topic to talk about, right? Alejandro,
Mm.
you mentioned
Yeah,
that you
man.
have really interesting stocks in our portfolio. And so, can you give more hints about this?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely will, but I just want to tell everyone I am like thrilled because I've been hitting the gym like really hard, and this was my gym shirt, like not like workout shirt, but it's like my goal shirt, right? Like you gotta have some goals when you work out. And things like I was really trying to go back into the short for a while and I finally managed to, and I feel, like it's paying off. So I'm super happy about that. So like I say, not everything is about working, not everything is about investment. Sometimes you have to take time for yourself and do something with the money that you're making. Okay. That said, today we're gonna be talking about two stocks. And those stocks are gonna be CIEN, which handles fiber optics, and STLD, Steel Dynamics. This one handles just a whole array of things. And these companies have been performing just super well this entire time. And so I've been investing in them for a little bit, and I think that they are finally, at a very good entry point for someone who's looking for developing stock. Because, like, over the year, as you guys see, like the stock has continued to progress, and even though it's got like some setbacks between here and there, usually those setbacks are not really related to the company doing poorly. They are just related to standard market dynamics, but the two stocks continue to move strongly, right? So Ciena Corporation, they handle fiber optics, and the reason why they're performing so well is because they are now entering into AI. They've been working on it, but now they're like concentrating heavily on it. And if anybody's paying attention, we're gonna have the IPO from SpaceX coming up in the first week of June. And the expectation is that all of this hardware that's going to be required in order for creating the AI infrastructure in outer space, which is what Elon Musk is trying to do, is going to require a lot of these companies that create the hardware to receive the contracts that are going to be, required to put all of these things in space. So you have to keep an eye on these things, right? Like Micron Units right now is doing exemplary well, but I think Ciena Corporation is one that is still very, very capable of earning a much higher potential. So that's one of them.
Alejandro,
And then
can
the
you
other,
give a little bit of hints to the audience, like what exactly do they do? Do they do like fiber optics? Do they do like chips
yeah,
with like connectivity of fibers? What's the core of their business and which regions is this for? And like how big this company is?
yeah, okay. So this company has a market capitalization of $80.6 billion, right? And right now it's selling for $570 a share. So like if I was gonna enter this company right now, I would probably enter at a limit of about 550, because it does go through periods of like growth and retraction. And right now it's going through a retraction period, which is like a really good time to pay attention to the company, because when companies go through retraction and the price starts to drop, that's basically an entry point. If it's a strong company and people are, taking in their profits, that means that whatever somebody's selling is going to cause the stock to drop a bit, but that doesn't mean that the company is getting devaluated. That just means that someone is already ready to take their profits and use that money for something else. And now it's an opportunity for someone else to come in and take those stocks at a lower price. So the company itself, they are in Maryland, and they handle vital player optical connectivity. And what that means is like they are the company that handles fiber optic connections, but they're also like connecting the requirements that are needed in data centers in order to fulfill AI requirements, right? And that's very important because without the hardware, you cannot have AI work. And we are in an age where AI is just everywhere, and of course, is affecting everybody's life. And although a lot of people saying that it's a bubble, you know, it really depends where you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from the point of view of saying like there's a few companies that are there and they're probably not going to do very well, sure. That is just regular business structure. Some business do well, some business do not. But as a whole, the AI infrastructure is continuing to grow, and we need the hardware that's going to allow for these companies to succeed, right? And these companies are going to invest in the hardware, and Ciena Corporation is one of the companies that creates the hardware for AI.
This is so interesting how everything connected to AI, all the components of the puzzle, like start growing.
Oh yeah.
And
You
the
know, and
world is running on the optics, all the networks, high speed bandwidths. I call this about optical switches and
e-
optical fiber optics.
exa-
So
yeah,
yeah, it's a
and you
good
need
investment
that, and you
opportunity.
need
That's
that.
like one of the building blocks. And as soon as the news about this 6 gigawatts data centers for AI, I think it's yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because I mean, imagine like if you were back in the dot com boom when everybody was putting money in the stock market, and then of course we had the stock market crash, but that's what happened back then. Now, let's say that you bought Microsoft right after the crash, or you bought one of these companies that actually managed to succeed back in the 2000s where we had the stock market crash. Right now, you probably be like out chilling in the Bahamas or wherever you might want to be chilling at, and you wouldn't really be too worried about what's happening in the stock market. Unless you're like heavily invested, then you would be worried. But the point is that every time that you have, company cycles, you have companies that are going to survive the boom. And those are the companies you want to pay attention to, right? And you don't want to be like heavily invested in everything. You want to be completely diversified. And that's why we're also going to be looking at Steel Dynamics. So Steel Dynamics is a company that produces steel, and this is a company that is not into AI. It's more into like the construction side of things. And whenever new infrastructure is being created, you need steel for pretty much everything. And that's what this company does, right? That's what Steel Dynamics is responsible for. They are above $38 billion in market capitalization. And if we look at how they've been performing, as you can see, like they were pretty, non-performing for a very long time, like almost 8 months. And now they had a little bit of a drop right around February when we had all of this war things began. But then now they are just skyrocketing. And I think that they still have a very large room to grow, and if you're looking at how things are developing. So if you look here, $38 billion. I was looking at the company and I got a little bit worried because I read some news that said that the VP sold 2.1 million worth of shares, right? But when you look at the market capitalization of Steel Dynamics at close to 38 billion, somebody internal to the company selling $2 million simply means that this guy probably has a vacation that he wants to go to, and he's just selling some stock because he needs the cash, right? Not necessarily what I would do. I'd probably just borrow against it so that I don't get hit dinged by taxes. But he wanted to sell. That's what he does, right? Anyways,
But what is the
mm,
fundamental, like, why is it going now? So I don't see like super much construction going on like worldwide. So what's different from what was, let's say, 8 months before? What is it?
so so as far as like the fundamentals, there hasn't really been anything spectacular. I think what's been happening is that an array of investors started to see that there's a lot of potential for this company. So this is why the company is now on an upstream. So this one was selected by the algorithm in order to based on the polymorphic algorithm that I created, it found this company for me. And that's why I started investing on it, right? Once I started to see that there was a lot of trends that were making sense, I started investing. So one of the things that you'll notice is that the company tends to stay very flat until the candles go very, very thin, and then it will drop a little bit. But as soon as there's a drop, it will spike again. You'll notice that, and these are the patterns that basically tell you that this is a company that a lot of investors are looking in, and they're looking for a good entry point. So when you find a company like this, what's important is that you find a point where the company goes back down, right? Like, for example, here, this would have been a good entry point, or here, this would have been a good entry point. So what you do is you look for these candles that are extremely thin, where the open price is higher than the closing price with very short stems, and you use those as your entry point for the stock. So in this case, for Steel Dynamics, for example, you could go and you could sell a put on it at a very low price and make money on it. So like I made about $7,000 on this particular stock, because I entered it about here through a put that was sold about a month ago. When the put expired, the company was already lower in price for me because I had already made about $1,000 on that. And then afterwards, the amount of money that I invested allowed me to gain all of this extra cash, right? So I'm about here right now from an entry point of 164. Now I have the stock at 260. So it's just, giving a good return. And I didn't invest a lot of this. I only bought like about 70 shares, I think was what I got. So, you know, approximately $7,000 in a month. So these are like the stocks that I want to talk about today. It's really good to find stocks like this that are so completely different. One is strictly AI and hardware components for AI and fiber optics, and the other one is in steel and construction, right? And bringing these two stocks into your portfolio allows you to diversify into very different sectors. That allows you to have good earnings and also to balance them out so that if one particular sector suffers, you're not going to be wiped out because you have other sectors to keep you in line. Yeah.
Absolutely true.
And that's it. So how is crypto doing?
I'll drop in a bit, but more or
It's
less
dropping a bit.
in the
Okay.
same corridor, I would say.
All right. And that's what this podcast is for, because our idea is that if you have money in crypto and you want to put it in the market, like in the stock market, we're here to tell you, right? If you have some things that if you want to get out of crypto and you want to put that money in the stock market, we are here to tell you, what's doing well now and what are some good stocks to look into and put money into. So that's what the show is all about.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
that's it for today.
Yeah, that's absolutely what
Subscribe,
right.
write comments, ask questions. If you want to know more in depth about the companies that we are investing in, so let us a hint, and we will make a more detailed explanations and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, so as Serhii said, if you guys like our show and you like our content, go ahead and subscribe and hit like. We'll be here every week telling you new, different perspective on different stocks that are performing well and that you might want to add to your portfolio. Or if you're in crypto and you want to switch back to stocks or vice versa, we're here to basically tell you what we see and how we are experiencing it. And that's it for our show today. We will leave you with this and see you all next week. I hope you'll have a very, very wonderful weekend.